Hello everybody, Mr. Akins here and welcome to What's on the Comic Rack. In this video I'm going to be participating in Comic Collector Geek's Friday Challenge pet covers. Now when this challenge got put out Friday, I thought it was going to be relatively easy. In fact, I had certain pets come to mind immediately. But then when I started looking through my personal collection trying to find covers with these pets on them, it became a little bit more difficult. As the days went on, I kept looking and looking and looking. In particular, I spent probably an hour looking for one particular cover that I knew I had. That would be, I think it's Adventure Comics, where it has the League of Super Pets. I know I have that comic. In fact, I'm still looking for it somewhere. But I think it's one of those situations where I'm in the process of reorganizing my collection, making sure I can find everything. And you're in between that spot of disorganization and organization. And I'm in that spot where things were kind of organized and I kind of knew where they were, but I'm going to put it in a better organization. And it gets disorganized before it finally gets reorganized back into a spot where you can find it. I know I've got that comic, I'm still looking for it, but that one was kind of used, so I said, okay, I need to find some other covers. I know the criteria was 10. I was able to find 5. Because it took me so long, I'm going to go with 5 because I don't want this to go on days and days and days and me not actually make a video and spending all my time actually just looking for a comic. So I've got 5 covers. 5 covers with pets on them. So let's get to looking at those issues. 1. And we're going to start off with X-Men number 181, cover by John Romita Jr., and this cover features Kitty Pryde's pet dragon Lockheed. Now, this isn't the cover I was expecting to put in this list. I knew for sure I had Uncanny X-Men number 168. So I'm looking through my X-Men comics. I can't find it. I'll put a picture of Uncanny X-Men number 168 beside it. I was certain I had that comic. Apparently I don't. So I'm looking. It has to be a cover I can find in here with Lockheed on it. There has to be. So I'm looking, and this was the first one that came up. Now this is a cover from 1984. So the X-Men are not the top of my reading list. That would be like Iron Man, Captain America, the Avengers, Thor, Fantastic Four. But I was reading just about everything I could afford from Marvel, and X-Men was definitely in the mix. Now I remember this particular issue right here. This was after Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars, and during that comic run, during that limited series, Lockheed had met another miniature dragon on the battle world that the Beyonder had created. But when the dragon came back to Earth with them, it began to grow to like Godzilla size, and of course mayhem ensued afterwards. Another pet that immediately came to mind, that was Red Wing, Falcon's pet falcon. So we have right here Marvel Fanfare number 1 volume 2, and right there on the cover we've got Red Wing. So I thought finding a cover with Red Wing was going to be easy. Again, it wasn't. All the Captain America comics I own, none of them had Red Wing on the cover. So I said, you know what, I'm going to go to my LCS. I'm going to go to LCS. There's got to be an issue I can buy. I can add it to my personal collection. Start looking through the Captain America issues. No issue that they had Red Wing on the cover. Hey, I know Marvel Premiere number 49 has Red Wing on the cover. Let me go look at that one. No. So I'm over there looking. All of a sudden, I remember I had this book. I don't know why it came to my head that I had this cover or this comic and that Red Wing was on the cover. So I came back, started looking for it. For some reason, I thought it was a Captain America comic. So I'm looking through there, can't find it. And then all of a sudden, I remember it's a Marvel Fanfare comic. I like this art style on the cover. It's very Copper Age-ish, if that's a word. So I'm reading the cover and it says together again for their final adventure. And so I'm like, why is that on the cover? And then I'll look in the corner box and it says 1996. So that's the whole Heroes Reborn storyline going on at the time. So this was probably their final adventure before the Heroes Reborn storyline came out. So the next pet that immediately came to mind when I started thinking of pet covers, that would be Kazar's Pet Saber-Tooth Tiger, Zabu. So I knew exactly which cover I was going to use for this. And this, my friends, is not it. I wanted to use another cover, but I'm going to use that comic issue for another video. So again, I start looking. I'm looking through all my Kazar to try and find a cover with Zabu on it. And I can't find one. In fact, this is the only other cover that I could find that had Zabu on it. So, but it meets the criteria because there's Zabu right there. We've got a lot of other stuff and Zabu too. Next, I thought of another pet and I said, oh, this is going to be easy. But it wasn't. The pet I was thinking of, teleporting Inhuman Bulldog. Now, this issue of the thing right here apparently was somewhat of a controversial issue. In the story, the thing implies that Lockjaw is not a dog, but an Inhuman whose exposure to the Terrigen Mist turned him into this dog-like form. And there were people online when I started researching this comic that had very strong opinions against this implication. Apparently, they retconned it. It was a hoax to prevent Quicksilver from exposing his and Crystal's daughter Luna to the Terrigen Mist. So we can all remain calm. Lockjaw is a dog that has been exposed to Terrigen Mist. Therefore, he fits the criteria of a super pet on the cover. And last but not least, because I could only find 5. I know the criteria was 10. But we can't have a list without the OG of Super Pets, Crypto. I've got Action Comics number 789 here. I don't think anybody has shown this cover yet. Again, I thought finding a cover with Crypto would be easy. What was difficult was finding one no one had shown yet. And this fit the bill. There he is on top of the doghouse of Solitude, paying homage to Snoopy. This has been one of the more difficult challenges Comic Collector Geek has put out there. Usually I can find something that fits the criteria for pretty well, but what made this one particularly challenging was because I wanted to use specific pets, I couldn't find them on the cover, or I couldn't find one that hadn't already been used before. But I think I've got at least 5 here. There are my 5 super pet covers. So, until Comic Collector Geek's next Friday challenge, I'll see you around the comic rack.